So I just found this article on Facebook talking about how a staggering amount of young adult book readers are adults, not young adults. Well, I technically fall into the young adult age frame because it's usually like teenagers are up to 18, and then young adults are like 18 to 25. Shut up! Sorry, my cat won't stop meowing at me. Anyways, I'm still technically an adult, and sometimes people see me, reading a book that's aimed at teenagers, and they're like, oh, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But the thing is that I practically only read young adult fiction, like the stuff that's in the teen section of Chapters, which is, for non-Canadians, Chapters, Indigo, and Coles, it's all one company, and basically any bookstore in Canada is owned by them. I think Barnes & Noble is the American equivalent. Anyways, but the thing is, it's not like I haven't tried reading adult fiction. I really have. But the problem is that I have with it, and I've only managed to finish one book, and it was crap, and I don't even know where the fuck it is. I went to grab all the ones that I've bought and read, and I couldn't find that one. I do have one other. I should have grabbed that at the beginning. I put it back because I realized it didn't have the one issue I have with it. But here, I'll just grab it. It's TikTok by Dean Koontz. Although I've heard Odd Thomas by the same author is good. But anyways, moving on. The movie was good. But my problem a lot of the time with these books is that they try to be mature, so they're like sex stuff everywhere. And while I'm no like prude, I'm okay with sex or whatever. Granted, I am gay, so I'm less fond of heterosexual sex or the phallic obsession that there is. Like fucking this book my mom recommended to me, and it has a really cool premise, but I just couldn't get through it because they kept on talking about fucking boners all over the fucking place. Like, come on, move on. And this one seemed really cool too, but like it was talking about how they're fucking with her brain and making her like want sex and shit, and it's like what the fucking shit. And another one was like, I think it was the Turning. Yeah, that sounds right. That was the one I can't find. I think I might have thrown it away. Anyways, that one was just sex shit all over the place. And that one I actually managed to finish because it was the first time, and at the time I had never not finished a book before, and I was actually a teenager at the time trying to be mature or whatever. You know how every teenager goes through that, no, I'm mature phase, and then they get older and like, screw being mature. Anyways, so that was just all fucking sex obsessed, and that was really before I realized I was gay, so I guess that's why I managed to finish it, because I was like, wait, I'm supposed to like this stuff. Even though it did have a gay character in it, and whatever, but you didn't really find out that until towards the end. Anyways, moving on. But yeah, so it's like the sex all over the place. Like, I'm okay with sex stuff in books, but the thing is that more often than not, if I wanted to read smut, I would fucking go and find some good fan fiction to do that. But usually when I pick up a book at the bookstore, I'm looking for cool stuff like, action, intrigue, horror, creepiness. I don't know, because I'm a horror fan personally. Like, the book I'm reading right now is a sequel to a book called Anna Dressed in Blood, in case you see it and you're like, what the hell? And this is really good. And what's cool about this one, the first book had this too, is that all the text, you can't really see that well on the camera, but it's in like dark red instead of being black, so that's really fucking cool. Anyways, but another issue I have with adult books is that they're just not as fun as young adult books. And what I mean by that is that they always try to be so serious and whatever, and they're trying to be mature, so they feel like they can't have the same fun that I guess young adult readers feel free to do. Like, I've laughed my head off at freaking young adult books, but every time I try reading an adult book, it's all so fucking boring and serious all the time. And they try to throw humor in there, but it's kind of the dry, kind of like, oh, I'm a mature adult, so I'm laughing at this because I'm a mature adult, instead of just like, freaking like, I love like situational humor, or like, dark humor especially, and it's like, I mean, I read mostly horror, like it's rare out of my books, so like if you look at my freaking book selection, which I'm freaking running out of bookshelves to put them on because I read a lot, you'll notice like 75% of it's horror or has a horror element to it. But there's tons of horror books I read that are fucking hilarious. And I mean, I've tried to read from the library and whatever, so these are the only ones I actually own, or I've borrowed books, or I've tried starting reading them at Chapters just to see. But thing is that I've read books that are young adult books that had, you know, like mystery or kind of detective elements to it, and it was really, really good. And it had you guessing the whole time. And here's the thing too, is that you're probably thinking, well, you are only 22, Kate. You know, that's probably why. My mom, not so much anymore because she got really into audiobooks when she got pneumonia and she couldn't read really because she was so sick. She just started listening to audiobooks, and now she only does audiobooks. But before that, whenever she'd look for a book to read, she'd be like, oh, hey Catherine, because as I've mentioned before, my family calls me Catherine, everyone else calls me Kate. And it was, hey Catherine, what books do you recommend? And she would literally, her only source of literature would be from my collection, and she fucking loved every single bit of it. And my mom was my age when she had me, so obviously she's not a young adult anymore. Because I mean, this sort of reading my books obviously started when I was a teenager, when whatever. So it shows that, like, most, in the article was talking about how it's mostly 18 plus, so being 22 means that I qualify. But yeah, and I find it's just, young adult books feel like they can't, I don't know how to explain it, but like, they feel different, like young adults have a feel to it, books to adult books, like because it feels, with young adult books, it's kind of like adventure, and it feels like they can put anything in there, whereas adult books feel like they're restricted and they can only have certain elements, and it has to follow a code or an outline or a structure that's very fixed, whereas young adult books can do whatever the fuck they want. And I think that's why too, is because, I mean, maybe I just don't relate with adults because I'm still fairly young, but at the same time my mom really likes young adult books, so, and she likes a lot of the same stuff I do in general when it comes to TV shows and movies and stuff like that. And I mean, just like me, she watches fucking animated movies, like, sorry if they're made for kids, but fucking Rise of the Guardians or How to Train Your Dragon or whatever the hell else is fucking amazing, and I'm gonna watch it, I don't care how old I am. And my mom fucking loved it. Like, watching How to Train Your Dragon 2, she was crying like a fucking baby. So, you know, and she's like in her late 40s, so, wait, no, she's 40, she's gonna be 47, no, 48 rather. I'm bad with math, I think, no, 46, I'm bad with math, ignore me. Was she 22 when no, she was 23 when she had, I'm bad at math. Anyways, so, yeah, it's, I feel like I'm gonna be reading young adult literature for, like, ever, because I can't see myself being into the same boring crap that's in here. And I mean, the shit I write is more young adult than anything. Maybe it's because the first book I wrote I was 15, and I'm still editing that because 15-year-olds don't know how to write. I'm sorry, you had a good idea, 15-year-old me, but the way you went about it is a little shitty, so. And I only edit it, like, once in a blue moon, so that's why it's taken me, like, is it 7 years now? I also wrote a sequel right away, and I started writing a third and the fourth book, but then I'm like, wait, I should go back and edit the first, and that's where I've been ever since. Moving on. Even my comic, which I have been actually working on for a couple years, but it obviously takes a lot longer than a novel, but even that, almost all the characters are in their 20s or older, and it's still, I feel like teenagers could still very much enjoy it, and it still has that element of fun and silliness and the restrictions, because I did start it when I was a teenager. I mean, and whatever, but I hate adult books, so whenever I go shopping for books, I almost exclusively stay in the teen section. And I've found some really fucking amazing books, like fucking Skullduggery Pleasant, best book series ever. And that's fucking, actually, that's not even teen, that's like younger than that, even though I'm like reading some of these books, I'm like, are you sure this is good for fucking 12-year-olds? We have this, like, guy being dismembered, are you sure? And we have, like, this person being tortured, or this guy's ripping another character's head off. Like, are you fucking sure that that's young adult? I guess the first couple, 3 books, it's okay, but then after that it really starts. But I guess since there's like 11 books out, but 9, and there's 2 novellas. Anyways, it took a while, so people who started it when they were 12 became old enough for that shit, because it kind of, as it goes along, it gets more, like, not young, like, preteen. Fucking amazing series. Gone series, fucking amazing. Which even Stephen King fucking loves those books so much that he decided to copy it with Under the Dome. Yeah, fucking hell. And before, every time I've said that, people are like, oh, it's probably just simultaneous, idea, except for the fact that all of the books have Stephen King's reviews on the back of them, so obviously he read them, and Gone had come out like 2 or 3 years before Under the Dome, so anyways, and then all sorts of other stuff. The only adult books I read and enjoy are classics, though, because I love The Picture of Dorian Gray. I love Sherlock Holmes. I have a couple of his books. Well, obviously it's Sir Arthur Conan, anyways. I'm trying to think of the classics I have. Oh, I love, oh, okay, I was about to say I love the Alice books, but those are children's books. What other books do I have? The Invisible Man was, like, hard to get into because it was just confusing. It kept on switching who it was from and the tense and everything. I was like, what the fuck are you even doing here? Dracula was boring as shit. It was interesting for the first bit, then it gets boring as shit. I'm like, trying to look at my bookshelf. It's facing the other way, and there's something in front of it, so I can't even see, like, the spot, like, whatever. But, yeah, I do like the classics. Classics being books from the 19th century. But, yeah. Oh, yeah, Edgar Allan Poe, H.P. Lovecraft. Fucking love those dudes. Yes, as you've noticed, horror fan. But, and I liked H.P. Lovecraft before he became so fucking cool. No kidding. Because Lovecraftian influence is absolutely everywhere, even Batman, Arkham Asylum, haha. Anyways, moving on, because this video is already 10 minutes and it's supposed to be just a quick little video to talk about how I like books. I think this is everything I meant to say, so goodbye. Thanks for watching.